Today, I want to talk about something that has been super powerful for me and that has had a massive impact on both my personal journey and the work I do with my clients. And that is Dr. David Hawkins' Map of Consciousness. This has been a total game changer for me when it comes to understanding energy, emotions, and how to clear blocks that are keeping you stuck. But before we get into that, welcome. Hello, my name is Jenn Scott. I am a modern alchemy mentor, and I help women and moms learn how to clear energy blocks multidimensionally so they can become their fullest expression and uplevel their healing practice or business through my unique techniques. And if you're into this kind of content, please don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button so you can learn more insights about energy healing, raising your vibration and consciousness. Also, before we get into the video, if you're a healer or aspiring one and want to dive deeper into energy work, I have created an ebook called The Alchemy Blueprint, which shares even more insights on how to transform your energy and clear blocks. That will be in the description box below. Okay, but for now, let's get into how this map can shift the way you see yourself and your energy and even the people around you. Okay, so just last week, I saw someone post about how levels of consciousness are egotistical and create separation because it refers to a system of hierarchy. And honestly, it made me pause for a second or maybe a minute. And this post actually inspired me to make this video today because it was so far from the truth. I laughed, okay? It made me chuckle. So here's the thing. What if it's not about separation? What if it's actually about rising to your natural vibrational frequency and stepping into your true authentic self? What if it's about using this map as a tool to understand yourself and others better? So if you don't know who Dr. David Hawkins is, he's spent over 20 years researching human consciousness, emotional states, and how we vibrate energetically at different frequencies. He outlines all of this in his book, Power versus Force, which, by the way, I highly recommend reading. It dives into how the energy you put out into the world impacts not just your life, but actually the collective energy of humanity. Now, let's talk about the map of consciousness, which is actually one of Dr. Hawkins' biggest contributions to the spiritual and healing communities. This map measures different levels of consciousness on a scale from 1 to 1,000, with higher numbers representing vibrations of love and joy and enlightenment, and the lower numbers reflecting lower vibrations like shame and guilt and fear. And each emotion and state of consciousness carries its own vibrational frequency. So, for example, shame vibrates at 20 hertz, super low energy, right? Okay, and fear is at 100, while love, one of the higher vibrations, vibrates at 500 hertz. Enlightenment, the highest state of being, calibrates between 700 and 1,000. So when you're operating from the lower vibrational states like guilt or fear, you're more disconnected from your true self. And that's often when we feel stuck or blocked. So Dr. David Hawkins created this tool to help you see where you are energetically and give you the tools to move up the scale or move through the emotions. So many of us, especially moms, can deal with emotions like guilt and fear about our children. And what's important to understand is that these lower vibrations are temporary. They don't define you as a person. And we often shy away from these emotions, but it's really important to feel them and process them so that they don't get stuck or lodged in our bodies. Now, I would like to emphasize here that it's not about reaching enlightenment and staying there forever. Life is meant to be experienced in full with all of the highs and the lows. So the key is learning how to move through the emotions more quickly without getting stuck in them. So when you clear the past emotional baggage, the trauma, the limiting beliefs that are holding you down, energetically charging your behaviors and patterns, you start to vibrate at higher frequencies. And from there, life feels lighter and more aligned and more joyful. So one of the major ideas in power versus force is the difference between operating from power versus force. So power, in Hawkins' terms, is the energy of truth, love, and alignment, right? It's expansive, it's more sustainable, and it elevates you and everyone around you. When you are in power, you're accessing your higher self. Now, force, on the other hand, is rooted in lower energies like control, manipulation, even the negative ego. Okay, that's a subconscious archetype. So force is exhausting and it's not sustainable, and you're actually connecting with your lower self, which emits emotions of shame and guilt. So being aware of this theory can help you substantially in understanding your energy. Okay, so Dr. Hawkins used muscle testing to measure these vibrational frequencies. He believed that your body inherently knows truth from falsehood. And through decades of research, he was able to calibrate these states of consciousness. And that's why I teach through the use of a pendulum or muscle testing, because it actually is reading the truth or falsehood of your body. So you don't have to be psychic to do this work. Okay, and this is exactly what I teach in my course, Quantum Alchemy Codes. We don't just work with these surface level emotions, we go deep. We bring unconscious patterns to your conscious awareness. So we look at your blind spots, the ones that you might not even realize are holding you back. And the best part is, when we clear these blocks multidimensionally, working across all timelines, past, present, future, parallel, even ancestral energy, we clear them completely. Okay, so the concept of levels of consciousness, as described by Dr. Hawkins in his map of consciousness, is understood in the terms of separation and ego. So Dr. Hawkins' model categorizes human consciousness in different states, ranging from those lower vibrations to higher levels like peace and love, right? And his goal was not to promote division, but to help individuals understand where they might be operating and how they can elevate their consciousness for greater inner peace or connection. So the idea that levels of consciousness are egotistical or cause separation stems from the perception that labeling one state as higher and another as lower creates hierarchy or judgment. Okay, and in his map, it's less about creating division and more about recognizing the spectrum of human experience and growth. So the higher states representing those expanded awareness of compassion and unity, while the lower states often are marked by egoic struggles and limitations. Okay, so in essence, Hawkins' model encourages individuals to move beyond the negative ego and step into your positive ego, into higher states of oneness, And when used with that intention, it's not about judging where others are on the map, but understanding how you can grow and evolve. So if someone perceives this map as judgmental or divisive, it can be a reflection of what they're holding within. Perhaps they are still operating from states of judgment or separation. Okay, and as we clear those lower energies and step into higher frequencies, we move beyond the ego's need for comparison into that space of unity and compassion for others and where they are in their journey. And so another big misconception that I want to talk about is that some people think that once you reach those higher states of consciousness, that you stay there permanently, or the goal is to always feel light and love. But that's not how it works. The map of consciousness isn't just about staying in those higher states or achieving enlightenment forever. It's about navigating the full spectrum of the human experience, right? So embracing both the highs and lows. Life is filled with a range of emotions, from joy and love to grief and fear. And experiencing these emotions doesn't mean you failed if you find yourself in those lower states. It means you are human, okay? And the key is not getting stuck in the mud in those lower vibrational states like fear and guilt and shame, but learning how to return to your natural state, which is much higher, right? So your natural state is one of love and peace, but all of the trauma and the conditioning and life's challenges can weigh you down, keeping you vibrating lower. So the goal isn't to avoid the lows altogether either. That's impossible. Instead, it's about allowing those lower vibrations to become, or not allowing, those lower vibrations to become your default state. So when grief and anger or fear arise, you need to recognize, process, and move through them without letting them anchor you in negativity for too long. Okay, so this isn't about pretending everything is perfect or bypassing tough emotions. It's about handling life's challenges in a way that allows you to return to your higher, more balanced state. I also personally believe that holding neutrality is crucial. So holding neutrality often is referred to as maintaining a 0-point state, which involves achieving a balanced, non-reactive state where you're not swayed by emotional highs and lows. And within this state, you're centered and aligned with your true essence, allowing you to respond to life with more clarity rather than reacting from an emotionally charged state. So when you hold neutrality or stay in 0 point, you're vibrating at a level where external forces have less power over your internal state. So this doesn't mean you're devoid of emotions. Rather, it means you're able to observe and process them without being overwhelmed by them, okay? And this is really important because maintaining neutrality keeps you grounded and energetically stable, making it easier to navigate those life's challenges without getting pulled into negative or chaotic energies, okay? From a neutral state, you're better equipped to manifest what you desire because you're not entangled in the push and pull dynamics of fear, anger, desperation, and control. Begin when you're in 0 point. This allows you to access those higher states of consciousness more easily, right? It's a state where you're more attuned to your intuition and inner guidance. So holding neutrality really does support healing by allowing you to release those old patterns and belief without resistance, creating that space for transformation and alignment with your higher self. All right, so holding neutrality is about finding that balanced space within where you can observe life, make conscious choices and stay aligned with your higher purpose, regardless of external circumstances. Okay. And this work ain't easy. Okay. I'm not going to lie. It's not easy. But life will bring you moments that might pull you down into grief, anger, or fear. Okay. And when you release those past burdens and become aware of your emotions and energy, you learn to live or move through these lower states more efficiently without getting stuck in them. Okay. You're no longer living in those lower vibrations or survival mode as your constant reality. Instead of being trapped in shame or guilt for months or even years, you can recognize what's happening, process the emotions, and return to a higher, more balanced state more quickly, right? So ultimately, it's about having the awareness and tools to navigate the inevitable ups and downs of life without letting the lows define you. Okay, so by clearing that emotional baggage and limiting beliefs, you don't avoid life's challenges, but you do become more resilient, more aligned with your authentic self, and more capable of maintaining a higher vibrational frequency, even in the midst of difficulties. So how do we clear what's keeping us in these lower states? How do we release past trauma, limiting beliefs, and emotional baggage that are holding us down? Okay, and this is where the real hard work comes in. It is about identifying your triggers. Okay, that is a huge first step. So start noticing when you're feeling emotions like fear, shame, and guilt. Okay, these are clues that you're operating from those lower frequencies and everything, right? Awareness is everything. Okay, and there's no judgment in that. We've all had different past experiences in life. Okay, and then from there, emotional release practices like journaling, breath work, or energy clearings can help really move those dense energies out of your body. Okay, so for example, if fear comes up within you, instead of shying away or pushing it away, we need to start acknowledging that fear, feeling it, and then releasing it and breathing through it. Another important part of this is subconscious reprogramming, because so much of what holds us in those lower states is stuck in the subconscious. So by working with subconscious archetypes and energy clearing techniques, we can release the blocks that we're not even consciously aware of, okay? And you also want to start rewriting those limiting beliefs. Beliefs you picked up from society, family, or past experiences that your subconscious took as truth, okay? And start questioning, are those beliefs really true, okay? Or are they just outdated conditioning? Also, building a supportive environment is really important as well. So surrounding yourself with people and environments and activities that raise your vibration are really important. Okay, so all that being said, this is the long way. You can do these things and they'll work. But if you want to go deeper and clear those blocks faster, I teach you how to do this in my course, Quantum Alchemy Codes. Okay, so in there, we don't just chip away at blocks, we bring the unconscious to your conscious awareness and revealed those blind spots, those hidden patterns that are holding you back, and through all timelines. Okay, this work changed my life. There was so many things that I was not consciously aware of that were happening or going on within my subconscious that had I not done this work, I don't know that I would ever have been aware of them. Lots of stuff from childhood that was deeply repressed and forgotten about. And once I started doing this work, I started remembering, and then I was able to release it. And it just made so much sense why life was always such a struggle. Okay. So my techniques show you what's lurking in the shadow of your subconscious so that you can clear those lower energies on every level, and then step into your authentic self and your fullest expression and your true power. So if you're looking for a great starting point, my ebook, The Alchemy Blueprint, is a perfect way to get you on your way. It covers key techniques and insights that help you begin clearing those energy blocks right now. Okay, and the link is in the description box below. So as you begin clearing what's been holding you down, whether it's trauma, limiting beliefs, or conditioned emotions, you naturally rise into your true frequency. Okay, your higher self already vibrates at love and joy and peace, but all those layers of emotional baggage can dim that light. So the more you release those energies, the more aligned you become with who you truly are, even when life presents challenges. So life isn't about avoiding grief or loss. These emotions are part of being a human being. And the key is learning to move through them without getting stuck and returning to your higher frequency after those moments have passed, right? And not getting stuck in those lower emotions as a default state. Okay, so this journey isn't about a hierarchy or being better than anyone else. It's about reconnecting with your authentic frequency, right? The one that existed before all the trauma and conditioning. So as you release those old layers, you begin to naturally start vibrating at your authentic self, your authentic frequency. Okay. And the amazing part of this work is just doesn't elevate your vibration, it transforms your entire life, because when you begin to vibrate at higher frequencies, you begin to attract situations and relationships and opportunities that align with that energy. And this is where the law of attraction comes in. Okay. A lot of people don't talk about this. I'm going to be making a video on this actually about the law of attraction and how people don't talk about the subconscious blocks that aren't allowing you to manifest your highest and best. Okay. But when you clear them away, you become that magnet for love and joy and abundance. Okay. Because you're embodying your true self. Okay, so let's quickly address this misconception of some people seeing the map of consciousness as divisive or egotistical or judgmental. Okay, so they feel that labeling one state as higher and another as lower creates a sense of hierarchy and separation, which I understand. But what if that perception of separation actually reflects the frequencies going on within? Okay, so when someone views the map of consciousness through a lens of comparison or judgment, it might still be because they're operating from those frequencies. And those lower frequencies often create division, comparison, and judgment. Okay, because they're rooted in limiting beliefs. So if someone perceives the map as judgmental, it could actually be an indication that they're still holding on to those lower states. And the idea that a tool like this creates separation can mirror the separation they feel within themselves. Okay, the lower states like fear, guilt, and shame are inherently divisive, generating feelings of inadequacy, comparison, and unworthy. While in contrast to that, higher states of love or peace are more expansive and unifying. They help us see the bigger picture and understand that this journey is about growth and connection, not comparison or judgment. Okay, so when you operate from those higher states of being or neutrality, you naturally move beyond the idea of separation and into unity. So if you know someone who feels that way about the map of consciousness, that it creates separation, or that's you possibly, consider an invitation for self-reflection. Ask yourself, What emotions, beliefs, or patterns can I recognize and transform to help me rise into my natural state of being? So the goal isn't to dwell in those lower states, but acknowledge them for what they are, work through them, and return to your authentic, natural state of being. So, all that being said, if you resonated with this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more insights on energy, healing, clearing blocks, and stepping into your authentic self.